minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It's a whole new week with Dishing Indies. I'm Emily May. I'm with my co-host, Katrina. Thank you all so much for joining. Are you ready to talk some wrestling?
Yes, I'm ready.
We have a very interesting breakdown today. Lots of uncharted territory here. Lots of intergender matches and lots of different matchups. So it was a very interesting week in the independent wrestling scene. What did you think overall? Everything happening before we dive in.
Yeah, I from what I was able to see, I thought it was pretty interesting. Especially, I did like the idea behind their intergender bonanza, like the fact that the card was pretty much just all intergender matches, which I thought was really cool. And so I'm like, okay, I think this is apparently they did this last year as well, I believe. But pretty solid from what I was able to see.
Yeah, we're going to dive into, I have to say there's some fun show names that we're going to break down. And yeah, thank you all for jumping on this Tuesday to join us in Women's Wrestling Talk. So let's dive right in because we have a lot to cover. So we're going to start off with West Coast Pro Wrestling's Cruel Summer. And, we've talked about one of these talents a lot. Masha Slamovich has been going all over the indie circuit and Impact. So she had a match against Zeta Zhang on Saturday. And West Coast Pro, if you've not seen that promotion before, they're really great. A lot of fun. So what did you think about this match? Did you catch any of it? What did you hear about all the happenings online and the reaction to this match? Oh, Katrina, you're muted.
Oh, there we go. I did get to see some of the match, and I did hear, at least on social media, that this was actually a matchup people really wanted between the two. And Masha is like amazing. Super like I feel like we say this every week about her, but she's like super badass. She's like all over the place, like, letting people know who she is, and I love that. But then I'm also a really big fan of Zeta as well, and so I was actually, when I saw that this was a match, I was like, okay, I want to see how their styles kind of test to each other as far as like how they are across from each other. And so for what I got to see, it was really, really, really good. I'm hoping that at some point they can do this again, maybe at the same promotion or a different promotion, but I would definitely be looking forward to seeing them step into the ring again with each other, because from what I got, it was really, really good match. And I only know a little bit about that particular promotion, but from every time I ever see anything about them, it's always like really good, solid work.
Yeah, I mean, you have Zeta Zhang, who, is a former MMA fighter, turned professional wrestler. She has such a background. And then you have Masha, who's very much of a strong style, very like grappling, style in the ring. We've seen her do crazy things in the ring. And so some of the social media reaction to this match was really telling to what both of these competitors do in the ring. And again, I feel like they put everything, from what I can tell, they put everything, put everything on the line, in the ring, and made it all happen. Because both of them have been having an incredible year. And I don't know, I have to look at the statistic, but I believe this might have been the first time they've competed against each other.
Yeah, it was.
Which, I feel like it took a while for that to happen. I feel like that matchup should have happened sooner, but I'm glad it did. And hopefully everyone can go and watch this match. All right. Anything else on this one, or should we move on?
No, I think we covered it.
Cool. All right. So next we are going to talk about this is I want to make sure we're going in order here. I got to get it right. The super crazy pro wrestling. So ACPW women's championships. So both of them are on the line, it looks like. Winner takes all match with Debbie Kane versus, is it Damaris?
Yes, Damaris.
Damaris?
Yes.
So I know we were talking about, so this promotion, so ACPW, which promotion is that?
Hold on. Let me
SKPW. Lots of something pro wrestling, but I want to make sure that they get their shout out for this match.
Give me 1 second, because it was a big name, I believe. Give me 1 second. So I believe the name of this promotion. Hold on, she doesn't have it on her. Make sure I'm getting this correct.
It's all good if you can't find it. I just want to make sure that the fans know in case they want to follow them.
Yeah, she has like a few promotions she's at.
So it's Super Crazy Pro Wrestling Championship, women's title winner, and then ACPW. So it was a winner take all. And so you heard about this match. These are two promotions I'm not familiar with, but I'm intrigued by this matchup, why it was a winner take all. Those stakes are really high when you have two championships on the line.
Okay, I found it.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's American Championship Pro Wrestling.
American Championship Wrestling. Okay. All right. That is good to know. I see. We always see it. It's a new thing. We want everyone to share different wrestling promotions that are out there. So I'm learning new things. You're learning new things. It's great. So how did you hear about this match? And these are two talents that I am not familiar with. So I'm intrigued. I want to know more about them. Katrina, what do you know about these two?
So for Damaris, I've actually seen before in a few indie shows in New York. And I believe when I was at the Radical show in June, she was there as well. And then Debbie Kane, I know her fiance is a ring announcer, David Adams. And so I've only seen a couple of Debbie's matches previously before this, but I did know she was champion just because he posted a lot about it on Facebook. And so I didn't know too much about her, but I did know about Damaris. And so I thought it was like an interesting kind of concept to have it where it was like everything on the line. I feel like that's like a situation when you kind of have both promotions kind of working together in that scenario. And so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of wrestling promotions, I can remove this one. A lot of wrestling promotions are having these cross promotions where you have titles on the line crossovers, forbidden doors are broken down, and you have these titles that are defended on different promotions. We've seen that later on. We'll talk about some of the promotions that have been doing that. I feel like promotions are doing that more and more, which I find really exciting, because we've seen it from the top of like ROH and AEW and New Japan and AEW, but we also have been seeing it on the indie circuit, not just in the larger promotions. So I think it's a really great way to get people to work together, to get different talents that might not have worked together to work together. And I think the possibilities are endless if we don't really separate and close those doors, but we keep them open.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty cool. I like the concept. I'm always kind of 50-50 with everybody takes all, because you don't really know how that works. But like how it's kind of weird in WWE because everybody's on the same brand. I think it kind of work with like between promotions, just because it kind of now showcase both promotions at events. So I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always I think it's always a good idea to keep some type of because it adds different creative agency and possibilities open when you have those cross promotions. I like the idea of these. So just so everyone knows the results for that match, the winner takes all. Damaris Dawkins won. So both titles, I guess, taking them home, taking more gold. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next one.
Oh, I think I put a picture up with her.
Oh, there's the picture. Look at that. We love that gold. I love
like
how the
belt
title
match her costume.
exactly. Like I love how they match her gear.
Yeah,
Can we talk about that? I think that's perfect.
Yeah, I don't know if it's planned that way, but it works. It looks really cool that her belt matches her.
I love it. Look
gear.
at that smile. That smile is a winning smile. I love it. Well, congratulations. That's exciting. And now she has to go and take those belts elsewhere too. All right. So we're going to get to the next one, which I believe is Bash of the Bonanza. This is a mouthful here. This is the Intergender Bonanza Super Championship match. It's a lot. There's a lot of B's here. We got So this specific match is Stan Styles versus Adena Steele. And this was like a whole this was a whole intergender show, correct?
Yeah, I believe most of the matches on the card were intergender matches, which I thought was pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah. So there was Steve Scott versus. Do we have more of those? I want to see if we.
Yeah, there's a few.
We have
matches.
Ross and Bradley. So here we have kind of a tag team intergender match with Christina Marie and Mike Law. We have Reed Walker versus Tatiana Rose. We have Mark Angle versus Gabby Ortiz. This is a bonanza, Bash of the Bonanza right here. We had Steve Scott versus Brittany Blake. Marcus Mathers versus Zoe Sky. Oh my God, some of these ladies I'm pretty familiar with. Oh, we won't get to that one yet, but that is sure a bonanza. So let's take it back a minute. So this was 4, 5, 7 matches. They're calling it the Intergender Bonanza Bash at the Bonanza. I feel like there needs to be a t-shirt. Yeah, it'd be kind of fun. So how, I want to get your take on some of these ladies in these matches. And then also there's, intergender matches are, we've seen the queen of intergender matches. So there's a few in the indie scene. Masha Slamovich is one of them. Billy Starks does a lot. There's a few that have been doing them consistently. And so how do you feel about them? We can put one of these graphics up. And your thoughts on a show like this, because I feel like we haven't seen a show like this in a while.
I thought it was pretty cool, honestly. I'm a fan of intergender matches. I feel like also like with most matches, unless it's meant to be like a throwaway match, that let there be something to it. And so um I know quite a few of the women that were in the match. Some of the guys I knew, some I didn't, but I knew most of all the women that were on the match. So that was pretty cool. And a lot of them have taken on men in previous events or previous, promotions before. And so I thought it was really cool, especially since a lot of the women did actually wind up winning the matches. And so I thought that was also a good thing, not only just to kind of showcase, that women can hang with men. We talk about that all the time about, the women wrestlers having to work a little harder to, showcase what their skill set was, and that they wasn't, in that box that unfortunately wrestling was during like the Attitude Era, where it was like, you know, really like they're pretty, but they're not really wrestling as much as they probably wanted to wrestle. And so I thought it was pretty cool to have that concept. And yeah, I feel like a few of these women are like really talented as well. And they're like really a whole bunch of like Gabby Ortiz, for instance, has been on so many of the promotions. She was on AEW Dark. There was this whole thing with her and Thunder Rosa, which I think I was there live for, and that was pretty cool. And then Christina Marie was just on AEW Dark this past week. So yeah, I thought it was a cool thing. I happened to see it because I'm friends with a few of them on Facebook, and I was like, oh, this is cool. So let me just kind of check out this event to kind of see what's this. And I thought it was pretty cool. And apparently I think they had one in 2021 as well. So I don't know if it goes further back than that, but maybe this is a yearly thing. And I feel like it's a good thing. I think we definitely need to see more intergender matches and show that, again, women can hang, with themselves, with the men, whatever they can hang. And I feel like all the women do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think to go through some of the results, so again, spoilers for anyone watching out there, Zoe Sky defeated Marcus Mathers, and let's see some of the other, Brittany Blake defeated Steve Scott. So again, I know you talked a little bit about the victories. So those were some of the victories this weekend. Mike Law and Christina Marie defeated Christian Ross and Chris Bradley. So, I think it was a pretty even card in the sense of, Stan Styles defeated Adena Steele. So like it was a mix of I feel like it was anyone's game here. And, in the ring as they competed. But yeah, this is, I like to see, I've spoken to so many wrestlers that, they go to a wrestling school and they're the only woman that has to train, right? And so a lot of female wrestlers start by competing in the ring with male opponents. And so they start there and then they branch out and they get their first bookings and they branch out and work with women. But I find it very interesting that even now, as we move into 2022 and 2023, that there are still schools that are predominantly don't have a lot of female students. And so it's interesting that a lot of training sometimes starts with this type of matches.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're good on this one. We're going to move on to another really big promotion, which we've talked about before. And this is GCW. And the match that... we don't have a match card for that one.
Yeah, I really could not find. I was like looking so hard. I was like, oh my God, I can't.
That's okay. It's all good. We try to keep up with there's so much wrestling out there. We try to keep up with everything that happens over the weekend. And as you know, wrestling cards are subject to change. So things happen on the day and maybe the card is not updated or the graphic. So it all happens and we're all for it. So this one was Akira versus Janai Kai. Katrina, tell us a little bit about this match and what intrigued you about it.
Well, Janai Kai is like super, awesome kick demons always. She's just another person that's always kind of grinding, always popping up at other promotions and showcasing just how skilled she is. And she's also somebody else that I know have taken on men before and beat them. And so I thought like, okay, I know she's popped up in GCW with a few other women that's kind of like regular faces in GCW. And then I know Akira, who I believe is Masha's boyfriend, I believe. I was like, okay, I've seen a little bit of his work as well. And so I kind of wanted to see what they were going to do. I know he fits more closer to death match type wrestling. He's usually in the matches where he's like busted open and that kind of thing. And, Janai Kai has done a variety of type of matches. And so I was interested to see what they would do in a GC.
He does grittier matches. He's a little high flyer, like he flies. Yeah. He kind of reminds me of Moxley a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Janai Kai I'm so happy to see her on multiple matches in this episode, but we've also talked about her previously. It's like, she is having her moment this year. She's having, in the last 6 to 8 months, she's like exploded, has been everywhere. And I'm so excited to see that, because I feel like she's translated the work that she's done with her other athletic and sports background and translated it to wrestling, which is really hard to do, and not everyone does it successfully. And she definitely is doing that, and doing it in a way that she's telling stories, and she's having these incredible matches, on GCW of all places.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was cool. And while she didn't win it, again, she's been doing her thing for the last, I feel like, she's been doing a lot of stuff in 2021 too, but I feel like 2022, more people are actually being exposed to how awesome she is in the ring. And, her kicks are super deadly. So, and we will be mentioning her again later on in the show, because she was also working somewhere else. And so she's always grinding. She's always hustling, always at somebody's promotion working. And I, again, I'm also for resting and recharging, but I'm also for grinding and doing what you need to do. And so I like it. I thought it was like really solid. And I love seeing her do her thing. It's like, I'm so excited for like the rest of, because we're in July. So I can't wait to see what she does for the last few months of 2022. Because like, she's done so much already.
I know. I want to see where else she goes, because she's done like the top independent promotions. She needs to, who knows? I think the sky's the limit for her. I mean, she's been at Mission Pro a few times. I've seen those kicks up close and personal. I've seen the raw, red bruising marks afterwards and the next day. And she is not someone to mess with. I mean, she had the most incredible match against Thunder Rosa. And I think it's on Title Match YouTube or on Missions YouTube, but like, it was incredible. And I was like, she was like going toe to toe with her, which is hard to do. So yeah, I'm very happy for her. I feel like we did a little Janai Kai appreciation moment right there, which I'm okay with. All right, so let's move on to the next one, which is the Great American Birthday Bash, which again, we're talking about some of our favorite people. This was Sunday, July 10th. And again, some amazing, so this was a 3-way triple threat match: Masha Slamovich, Lindsay Snow, and Janai Kai. All 3 of these, oh my God, all 3 of them in the ring. I think there was blood and guts and all that all over the place. I can't imagine. They probably destroyed themselves in order to make a statement with this one.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Do we have other ones? Yes, we have other ones. We had Effie and Allie, and we had Delirious and Edith Surreal. So this was a tag team match. We had Billy Starks again versus Nick Wayne. We had, that's it. That's all we're going to talk about. So talk a little bit about these three. So speaking of like these crossover forbidden door, knocking down the door, this specific tag team match was for the GCW Tag Team Championships. Yeah. So again, we're having these crossover promotions, more publicity, more interaction with fans. You have kind of this fan crossover experience, which we've seen a lot within the indie circuit.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this first one. So it looks like Masha Slamovich came out with the win against Lindsay Snow and Janai Kai, which I'm not surprised about, but I honestly think any three of these competitors could have taken this match and gotten this win.
Yeah.
What did you think?
So I saw like really little clips of it, and I'm a fan of all three. Again, we just talked about Janai Kai, we talked about Masha a little bit earlier, and so Lindsay as well as somebody who's just really, like super dominant in the ring. And so you have like two women who are dominant, and Masha and Lindsay, and then you got again Janai, who's like lethal and brutal with her kicks. And so in that way, she's dominant with her style of wrestling. And so I thought it was a really good match. And I honestly didn't know who was going to win it, because it's like, you got three competitors. This really could have gone any way. And so Masha did get the win, but I thought it was a really solid match with really three amazing competitors. And it was right there in Jersey, where I normally, if I'm at a show, I'm working a show there. And so, it was unfortunate I couldn't actually make it to that show, but I kind of wish I did. I felt like off that alone, just that match alone would have been enough to be like, okay, I like what we're doing with this. I like the, having three super badass women in this match. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, because you're on the West Coast, you're on the East Coast, so you could see some of these shows in New Jersey or Philadelphia. You can take a quick little drive over there. I mean, I have to go and watch this match. Like, I want to go find this match somewhere, because these women are incredible. So talk about this tag team match for the GCW Championship. So
I do applaud GCW for having an intergender tag team. I thought that was pretty awesome. Effie's super awesome. Ali is super awesome. And what I actually have never seen Delirious, at least personally before this, Edith is somebody I've seen wrestle, but I've also worked shows with her. And so I was like, okay, let's see, where we get it. I did like the concept. You had one team that are both masked, during the match. And then you have, again, they're like the theatrics that is Effie and Ali. And I think they work really well together as a team. Also, I love that dynamic of their team. And I thought, again, really smart on GCW's part to kind of have the tag team be intergender. I thought that was pretty awesome. And so solid match. Again, they retained, which I didn't think. Like, I feel like if GCW is going to have them lose the belt, I would probably be at a GCW event. I would be very surprised.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, it's very odd to have your champions lose a title somewhere else.
So I didn't think that they would necessarily lose it there, but I do like that they are allowing them to kind of take the tag team belt all over and defend it all over and still kind of represent as a team. And so I thought that was cool. And I thought the match was a really solid match as well. And I liked that they have very different styles as well. And so that it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. So next, we have Billy Starks versus Nick Wayne. And Billy Starks is a regular at GCW. So I feel like this was a natural, kind of a natural crossover here. And Nick Wayne, of course, is, so again, like Billy Starks is like, no, we've talked about intergender matches. Like, that she's done so many of them, and at such a young age, and is so great.
Yeah.
How did you feel? What did you hear about this match, and how did you feel with this matchup?
I know she was excited. From what her Facebook, she was really excited about that. She was talking about. I think she had a really busy week, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been like shows like 2 or 3 back to back.
She has like 6 in a row, and I'm like, how do you do that? She'll have wrestling
Yeah,
on a Tuesday.
it's insane. Her work ethic is like, she has a really good work ethic for being young. And like, I get it. You know, I always tell, like, if you're a teenager, try to enjoy that teenage years before you become an adult, and it's work and bills and stress. But I respect that she's always somewhere. And so I believe she had like 2 or 3 or 4 shows, like literally back to back. But I know she was really, really excited about this one. And there were really, really good things I heard about this one as well. And, you know, Billy Starks is super amazing and also can take on both men and women. You know, sometimes she can be the only woman in like a bunch of people, like a match where it's like 4 and 4 or 3 on 3. She might be the only woman in there, and she's still handling herself and doing her thing. And so I thought it was cool that in this promotion they allowed it to happen. And, you know, because it was part in partnership with GCW, I believe, for this particular show, that it was really good. I liked it. And I enjoyed it. And again, I was usually enjoys Billy matches anyway. And the fact that she won it, she actually won again, and she's won quite a few of her matches against some of the male wrestlers that she has faced. But really, really good match. I enjoyed it, and I liked what I heard from both of them afterwards. Like, they really loved to be in the ring with each other, or rather, they enjoyed that match, and so that was good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, speaking of, I'm going to move on to this next one. Speaking of Billy being all over the place and having 2 shows in one weekend, this was on that Saturday, July 9th, which was the Wrestling Revolver Cage of Horrors. And again, this was a much anticipated match that lots of people were talking about. And this is the first time ever that they've competed against each other in the ring. This was live on Fight, and I want to get your take on this. The internet exploded about all of this. I mean, spoiler alert, Ruby Soho did defeat Billy Starks, but from what I saw in the clips that I saw, it was a pretty intense fight, and and there was a lot of like gratitude towards each other. It seemed like there's a lot of appreciation for the work that they both do, and that they both were able to, you know, to be in the ring with Ruby Soho is incredible for someone that age.
Yeah. So when I interviewed Billy, it might have been last year, she did say Ruby was somebody she wanted to step in the ring with. And so when I saw the match card, I was like, yay, because I knew this was a dream match for her, that she loved Ruby, she looked up to Ruby, and that she wanted to fight her at some point. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, I know she has to be like ecstatic about this. And so I did see her post also, like, how much she really wanted this match, and that, again, this was the first time they've ever set foot in a ring across from each other. And so from what I, again, saw highlights as well, really, really good match. And while Billy didn't win this one, and to me, it made sense to have Ruby win it. It made sense to me, at least. I thought it was a really good match, and I did appreciate that they did respect each other. Again, Billy being as young as she is, and it's just so many matches under her belt. She has so much. Yeah. I feel like she's gaining so much experience at her age, just so she's always working. And so, again, to stand across from somebody who she always actually wanted to stand across from, I thought was a really cool, like, bucket list, like, yay, oh my God moment for her. I was really happy for that, seeing that. And seeing that it was a really good match. I felt like social media was all for it as well. They seemed really happy with the fact that we got the match, but also with, you know, that it was like it wasn't like any weirdness after the match. It was like, we respect each other, and hopefully we can see this again. Maybe they can tag together or something. Who knows? I feel like now this kind of opens the door for them to do more stuff with the both of them.
Yeah, I mean, I loved that, you know, it did say for the first time. So I think it opens the door to have them potentially have a rematch or to potentially tag. But what I loved is, like, I feel like Billy, because I've interviewed her before and I've spoken to her and worked with her. And one of the things that I found so incredible, like, she has such a great support system. and a great, like, so solid in the work that she does. And this was, like you said, one of her bucket items was like to have a match with Ruby Soho. And even though she didn't win, I feel like she did win. She didn't get that W, but she won in the sense that this was her dream and this was her bucket list for this year, and she got it. And that's winning in my book.
Yes, definitely. I definitely agree with that regard. Like, she still won. She didn't get the match win, but she definitely got something she actually wanted to do, and I thought that's cool. I feel like that's always a good thing when something you really, really want to do, kind of manifest it, and it happens. You're like, yes, and so really happy for her. And like I said, from what I saw, it was a really good match.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she definitely manifested it, and it came true, and hopefully it continues. I saw that she posted a passport picture, so maybe Billy's going international. Who knows? Sky and the world is her, the world is her oyster for sure.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. We're going to talk about Uncharted Territory, and this was the episode that aired this weekend. And it looks like it's a kind of a four-person tag. I don't know. It's a lot. How does this match break down? Hold on. I'm trying to. There's 4. Not everyone's on this.
Yeah,
poster,
I don't
though.
think everybody was on the graphic, but yeah.
I was like, wait a second, it's not even here. Do you want to break down this match? Because it's a lot. There's a lot of people involved, and it was in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Streaming live. Where was it? On IWTV.
Yeah, so I believe Last Laugh, which was the side that Kenzie's on, and so it's Nick Iggy, Dilly McQueen, Hunter Drake, and Kenzie Page. And then it was versus the Squadron Billiams. And so I thought that was pretty cool because there's 2 Billies. And
Billy Tipton and then Billy Starks.
Yeah, and so you had Cody Manhorn, Billy Tipton, Aaron Raid, and Billy Starks. And the Last Laugh did get the win in this match, but I thought it was interesting. Again, these are situations where it's like you got one woman on both sides, but they're still hanging. And Kenzie is also somebody who's also like always kind of grinding, always breaking and popping up in all types of matches. And so I thought it was cool to kind of like, okay, I kind of like, what they were doing with this. I kind of like the play on the name of the team as well. I was like, okay, that's a good play on that. And so I thought it was solid. I didn't get to see, this match because I literally found out this happened like this morning. And so I didn't get to actually watch this match at all. But I did see it on floating around a bit as far as people talking about it on social media. And so I'm hearing it was a solid matchup for this promotion. But yeah, I feel like this would have been this seems like this would have been a fun match, something that would have been like really good to like look at and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, how do you feel? So like, I know there's like, there could be like a 4-way tag. Like there could be like putting these matches together. It can get really crazy in the ring.
Yeah.
And everyone might have to fight for their spot, right?
Yeah.
So I found it interesting that with this match you have 4, you have 4 against 4, and it's people from all over and all different styles. And so I feel like I need to go back and watch this one and see how it all goes down, because those are what intrigue. Those types of matches intrigue me the most.
Yeah,
because it's like it's complicated.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 8-man tag. I feel like anytime those type of matches, it's like, okay, what is the story for this? How did we get here? And so I liked it, but I want to see it because I feel like a lot of the ones in there, I do know who they are. And so definitely would be interested in seeing like what happened with that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So we had more women's wrestling this weekend. We also had Women's Wrestling Army. And I know, Katrina, you and I were talking before ahead of time, and it looks like maybe the card might have changed, so some of these might be out of date. But we know that Holodead had a championship match. We had Lufisto versus Max the Impaler. We had Janai Kai, Queen Aminata were there in Women's Wrestling Army. And I double checked, and it looks like the show is going up at 7 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow on Brand Army. So there was a lot of, the Mission Pro Championship was on the line. So there was, again, we talked about crossover promotions. So Holodead was there and put the title on the line. And so you guys can watch that tomorrow. But there was a lot of social media presence this weekend about this show. And again, Janai Kai, again, someone that we cannot not talk about this week because she's all over the place, probably exhausted, probably sleeping right now. But I'm so excited to see what Women's Wrestling Army is doing. They're bringing people from all different backgrounds, from all over the industry, and tapping into their talent, and that's really, really exciting to see.
Yeah. I believe Trish Adora and Deonna Purrazzo is also on the card. And so I also love them as well. As people know, I love Miss Trish Adora, but Deonna Purrazzo had a hell of a last 2 years as far as what she's been doing with promotions, the titles she has won, the matches she have had, and so having her, then again, versus Trish Adora, who I absolutely love as well. I'm actually looking forward to see in this when it goes up, because I didn't realize that it was going to be that much of a delay. I was waiting to watch it, because I can be prepared for this part. So I guess we get to that next week. But I'm looking forward to it. I loved them. I liked all the matches they've had so far. You had Willow, and you had so many other people pop up in Women's Wrestling Army already. And so I can't wait to see what they did with this episode. I heard from people that I knew who was actually there that it was really good and that they really enjoyed the show. And I love everything that Maria is trying to do for women's wrestling. I think it's important, to have more matches where we can showcase women. This is women's wrestling talk. And so the showcase women doing their thing. And again, really amazing opponents. Like I said, I guess we'll see for sure what the actual card is when the show goes live. But for everybody that was announced, I thought it was a really solid show. I believe they had a mini show on the Friday, I believe. So on the 8th, I think was their mini show. And then the 9th might have been the, actual episode. And so it looks like it would have been amazing. I did see a few clips on TikTok. Some of the, highlights from the match. And so from what I saw, it looked really solid. It looked really good. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what they did. But I love what Maria's doing with this promotion. I think it's needed. And I do like that there's wrestlers for all types of styles, all types of women. I love that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is part of why we have Women's Wrestling Talk. We have to, give a platform for women to enjoy this, to feel like they can be a part of the industry. And so this is just another way to be a part of it. So, I'm excited to talk about this new promotion every week on Dishing Indies. And so I guess tomorrow we'll have a little watch party. Katrina and I will track it down and log in and watch it, so that we can report back to everyone next week. Yes, I'm down, because I was like, oh man, did I miss something? I thought I was doing something wrong, and I was looking for it. You're good. I was like, why am I not? I checked their Instagram, and that's what they said. They're like, it's coming tomorrow. I'm like, oh yeah. Okay, cool. Because I was like, sitting here like, was I doing it wrong? I thought I did something wrong. So that's all of our matches for this week for Dishing Indies. I know we highlighted and chatted about 3 of our kind of indie stars, our superstars of the week. And really Billy Starks, Masha Slamovich, and Janai Kai are the 3 that I think really stand out this week. I don't think we can pick just one, but I know that they're working so hard. They're going, around the country, around the world, trying to make an impact in the women's
independent scene, and it's incredible to watch. So just keep on doing what you're doing, ladies.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, especially Billy and Masha is always doing multiple matches in a week. And so they'll probably end up, a few times because of that alone. And I didn't want to base it just off wins. I just felt like I respect a person or a woman who's hustling, and they hustle. They're always working and always appearing somewhere and always giving their all in their matches. And I think that's something that's, not to knock the fact that, women in general usually have to work a little harder to kind of prove ourselves in, our professions or wherever we're working or, taking space at. But there are three who really, again, this whole week they were doing something. And I thought that was like, yeah, you guys kind of deserve a little bit extra shout out for just working extra hard and entertaining us wrestling fans, but also giving, amazing matches no matter what promotion they are in. And so definitely, I feel like they're gonna definitely be back. They're gonna be in somebody. They're gonna be in some match.
We should do like a permanent. We should do a permanent like dishing indies Hall of Fame, and then like every week we should calculate how often they're mentioned, and then at the end of the year they can be inducted.
I think they definitely can. I feel like that will work.
I think they won. I think they won already. We already mentioned them.
I feel like, we always talk about Billy Starr. Certain people we just always talk about. And I feel like because they're always working, they're always doing something. And so I definitely think we should try to do that and see by December, where we're at with like how many like times they popped up on the indie scene. I think that would be pretty cool.
I think that would be fun. Well, this was so much fun, Katrina. Thank you all so much for sharing your insights into the independent wrestling scene. It's always a pleasure. Where can people follow you, and what shows are you doing for Women's Wrestling Talk?
So outside of Dishing Indies, on Tuesday, I am also with fellow host Stephanie Hardy of the Hardy Wrestling Podcast, and we do the NXT and NXT UK recap show. And then I might pop up here and there for like either, a top 5 show or interview show. And so that's always really fun. As far as where you guys can find me, I'm pretty much on most social media platforms and in Cat We Trust, except if you're on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, the is a 3. But I am there, and you can stop, say hi, tweet. I usually respond as long as it's respectful. I respond as long as it's nothing weird or any of that. I do try to respond to people that message me or whatever. And so definitely catch me there. And if you are on TikTok, also make sure to follow the Women's Wrestling Talk TikTok as well. There's a lot of clips from our shows on there, and a lot of the hosts are actually on TikTok as well. So definitely
follow Women's Wrestling Talk on all of our social media platforms at Gcw Talk Pod. And we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, and Katrina is like badass. Taking names to that TikTok there, making it all happen, posting all those little clips, really, really amazing. So thank you, Katrina, for all that you do. And if everyone wants to follow me in all of my wrestling and hosting journey, you can follow me right there at Emily May Heller. And remember, follow Women's Wrestling Talk on all of our platforms. Go to our website at www.talkpod.com and get all of the latest news and information on women's wrestling and beyond. We have an amazing, amazing group of writers that will give you the scoop any time of day. I see things go up at like midnight or 2 a.m. If news breaks, we got you. So we miss our third co-host, but hopefully she will be back soon, and we'll have our little team together again. But thank you again so much. We can't wait to see you again next week at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern for Dishing Indies. We appreciate you, and thank you for watching the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling